I truly believe for the most part that a lot of us really do enjoy and appreciate KeKe Palmer. The issue is KeKe Palmer has consistently showed us who she is, and it's not giving just one of those days. It's giving this might be her character, and we need to be honest about it. Let's talk about it.
Y'all already know what time it is. I got the black V-neck on.
Are you going to ruin this moment?
I absolutely have to.
When it comes to KeKe Palmer, I want to say that I appreciate her. I had the pleasure of meeting KeKe Palmer a couple of years ago and be interviewed by her in Common. And I will say all the things that we see from KeKe Palmer, how she acts and how she speaks, she does that in real life. Like, she is a living legend. I mean, we grew up watching her on the Disney Channel. We've seen her. My first time being introduced to her was Achille and the Bee. I have always enjoyed her, the black girl who has just been phenomenal in all of the work that she's been able to do throughout her career. And every time she does an interview or any type of podcast, we've fallen in love with her even more. But we got to be honest about some of our faves. And KeKe Palmer has had a couple of run-ins with stuff like this, and we will get into it. For those who do not know, KeKe Palmer is interviewing and doing a podcast with Johnathon Majors that is set to be released next week on the 8th. Now, what's hilarious about this is someone made a tweet and said that KeKe Palmer has been under the radar and we have not clocked her. But a couple of us, to be honest, have seen KeKe Palmer do these very specific things that have been questionable, and we have seen her bounce back. And I'm not sure if she will be able to bounce back from this. And when I say bounce back, I mean that she's alienating a group of people who have accepted who she is and who she is even with and just moved on. But her allowing herself to be used by someone like Johnathon Majors, I'm not sure if it's even redeemable. KeKe Palmer is human. She is a human being like each and every one of us. And yes, she is able to make mistakes, learn from them, and grow like a lot of us. I truly believe, and I know for a fact, that counsel culture does not exist. So this conversation about KeKe Palmer isn't about counseling KeKe Palmer. It's about having a conversation about her consistent need to make the same mistakes over and over again. Again, it's nothing wrong with making them. But you have went from sitting in R. Kelly's lap.
I'm here with one of my favorite people in the world, okay? And he's playing the most amazing new track.
To defending him on The Breakfast Club.
Mom.
R. Kelly.
Terrible example.
Why don't y'all gonna stop coming at my boy Kels,
no,
okay?
R. Kelly gonna stop coming on 13-year-old girls.
You don't
allegedly.
feel like these stories are a little
That's what he gonna
crazy
start doing.
about R. Kelly and make you look at him like...
Well, you know what? The last people that they were talking about, were over the age of 18.
To going to Wendy Williams and arguing with her, rightfully so, about what you experienced with Trey Songz, to now platforming someone who has admitted on an audio the things that he has done. It's not about holding Johnathon Majors accountable, because KeKe Palmer does not have the ability to hold Johnathon Majors to any type of accountability. So even trying to put that in the podcast to excuse that, hey, I'm holding him accountable, I don't even have to listen to it to know that there is not going to be any type of accountability. The accountability is mute because you have already given him your platform. You are alienating a group of people who stand for you, who are enjoying you as an actress and everything else and want to support you. You are alienating your fans and using your social capital for someone who will be able to access Hollywood in ways that you will never be able to. And that's not a read to say that KeKe Palmer isn't deserving of the opportunities. But Johnathon Majors, as a man, and with even these accusations and the proof coming out, is still able to walk in rooms that KeKe Palmer has not been able to do. And it's not because she's not talented. It's because she is a black woman, and she is a dark-skinned black woman. We already know that it's harder for black dark-skinned women in the industry in Hollywood to succeed. And even as phenomenal as KeKe Palmer is, she's not able to access the same rooms as Johnathon Majors. Johnathon Majors, for the most part, has been using Black excellence to really sell the idea that he has changed. He is really preying off of our want and need to see a Black male in Hollywood succeed, even when they have a troubling past, that we are still willing to sacrifice Black folks in the pursuit of this. We are willing to make folks be pawns in the grand scheme of things to get to so-called Black excellence. That's exactly what's happening. And I want to take the time to shout out to Nate Jones over at The Vulture. He did a fabulous piece about Johnathon Majors and his press tour right now. He spoke with a group of people who work at PR firms, and they basically broke down what Johnathon Majors is doing. And one of the things that was mentioned in the article was the first time Johnathon Majors made his appearance back to the public was at Black Spaces. He made his first public appearance alongside his new fiancee, actress Megan Good, at the African American Film Critics Association pre-Oscar luncheon. Weeks later, the couple popped up at the NAACP Image Awards. This was their test run for sure, says Bird, who ventures that these appearances were an experiment to see how Majors held up under pressure. We've not seen Johnathon Majors do this level of Black press like this. We've not seen it in his past. We've not seen him date Black women, but he has given us the full Black experience. And a lot of us, unfortunately, are falling for it. And it's not our fault. It's, for the most part, I'm not really upset at us falling for it. I just want us to know what is really happening, because we want to see Black folks succeed. And I don't think that's anything wrong with it. We want to see Black folks who are talented making in spaces that they were not allowed in and still are not. But we have to really pick apart what we are willing to sacrifice in the pursuit of Black excellence, because this is exactly what this is. For Essence to even run a piece or put him on a Instagram and do an article about him being engaged and now married to Megan Good is part of the PR machine. All of these Black women spaces and Black led female spaces like Sherry Shepherd's show, being in a relationship, marriage with Megan Good, also going on KeKe Palmer's podcast. I have a question to ask. Are there Black male spaces like Sherry Shepherd and KeKe Palmer's podcast that allows Black women who have went through something like a Johnathon Majors to go on their press tour to get Black attention again or to rebuild their careers? There might be some spaces that allow specific type of Black folks to come, like an Amber Rose or a Candace Owens, but not in the same way. Not in the same way. The way that Black women are being used specifically in this moment by Johnathon Majors is sick. It is sick. And for KeKe Palmer to be as successful as she is, she does not need to interview a Johnathon Majors. She doesn't need to talk to him. She doesn't even have to speak on anything. She could just not interview him. But the fact that she did raises a lot of questions. And we see those questions being answered right now with the conversation about KeKe Palmer and her past. There are now video clips going viral on social media of KeKe Palmer sitting in R. Kelly's lap. There is now the infamous interview on The Breakfast Club that she did defending R. Kelly and saying, "That's my boy Kels." There's also the tweet from 2020 of her speaking about food stamps should be only used for healthy foods. And although KeKe Palmer has talked about the situation with R. Kelly and admitted to her being wrong, there seems to be a pattern with KeKe Palmer. And for a lot of folks, they're starting to piece the puzzle together. We saw KeKe Palmer's baby daddy do her online after the whole Usher incident. A lot of folks were not feeling how KeKe Palmer's baby daddy responded to her and how he basically embarrassed her online. Basically embarrassed her. We saw all of that happen. And a lot of folks had questions, and people, some of them were doing the most, but people saw something because they have experienced these things too. So they called it out, and KeKe Palmer was not interested in it as much. And then come to find out, she had experienced some level of DV with him. We had KeKe Palmer's mother go online and rant and rave and go off, and we saw and heard audio of her talking bad about the baby daddy and talking about things that he had did. We saw that back and forth for months. We saw KeKe Palmer and them eventually split, but we also saw them get back together. And the get back together was very silent. It was giving, I'm going to work things out with my baby daddy. I'm going to make this work. We've not seen any more public pictures of both of them together. It's no surprise to me that her baby daddy enlisted in the Army. I mean, a lot of the folks who do those things are in the Army. As a veteran who was in the Army for 8 years, I promise you, it's not something that is unheard of. A lot of those men are like that in the Army. The question I'm asking is, what does KeKe Palmer want from this? What is the objective for someone who is so liked and loved like a KeKe Palmer? Why does she feel the need to platform someone who has been very questionable, even in his response to the audio that was leaked? Someone who hasn't really admitted to the wrongdoing. He won't admit that he did wrong, but he will look apologetic. Some of the people who work in PR who spoke with Nate Jones in this article about Johnathon Majors basically named the strategy that he is using, that this took time for Johnathon Majors to get to this point. And he used the black spaces for the experiment, the first experiment. He is using Sherry Shepherd. He is using KeKe Palmer for what? What? He is using Megan Good, and he honestly would even use Jada Pinkett if the red table talk existed. I guess for me, I am tired of seeing black women give so much to men like Johnathon Majors and receive nothing in return. The most some of these women probably will get is a PR marriage or relationship. Megan Good, who has had a very decent track record, a very clean public image for years, now having to use that to bolster someone who has been able to enter doors that Megan Good has not been able to for a while. Let's be completely honest, not taking away from Megan Good. She has her things, but Johnathon Majors was working for one of the biggest companies on the face of this planet, Disney. He was playing Kang the Conqueror. He had a big career ahead of him. And he's also really close now because Michael B. Jordan has lended him some sort of social capital as well. After the incident died down, he came out to support him and said that he wanted to see him in future projects. Someone like a Michael B. Jordan, who also has a history of using PR relationships with black women to bolster an image or a look or an idea that he likes black women. We remember Michael B. Jordan being called out for a minute of being on boats and only partying with white women. Now we see him in a relationship for a couple of months with a black woman and we see him hurt. That is all a part of the PR machine. Love is a part of the PR machine, whether we want to know it or not. Having this patriarchal family, this idea, this thing, gives a image that you deserve what you're getting because you're a good man, Savannah. And that's what Johnathon Majors is absolutely doing. He is trying to come off like a good man because at the very least, he can repair his image with black folks and still survive. And he can use black folks to bolster himself to get to the place that he once was. The same way that these major networks use black shows to bring in these other shows that were mediocre in place of them. We've seen this show time and time again. The characters change, but the story is very consistent. So, as I said before early in this video, this is not a video to counsel KeKe Palmer because, again, I do not believe in counsel culture. But we need to really take a look and understand that KeKe Palmer, although she is very human and she is able to make mistakes, her allowing herself to be used and platform someone like a Johnathon Majors is very dangerous. This is not the same as a person who is a fan of Johnathon Majors with a Twitter account with 5,000 followers. KeKe Palmer has millions of followers online, and she has millions of people who follow her who are not online, people who want to see KeKe Palmer in movies and shows. And she is now lending that social capital to a Johnathon Majors. And when we really pay attention, even in this article, shout out to Nate Jones because he ate this article up. There was a part of this article that just sticks out to me because even though KeKe Palmer is an actress, she is an influencer as well. The world of social media has opened up to exciting new avenues for crisis communications. Every journalist in the world can hate you, but if you have 3 million fans who consistently love you, then they're the ones you want to rely on, says Mayer. Today's publicists can easily backchannel with fans who boast significant online followings of their own to get a sense of whether they're willing to help the cause. Not anything underhanded, but you can see if they're willing to look at the things that the media hasn't shown them. And sometimes you can pay an influencer, he adds, the going rate anywhere from $5,000 to $100,000. Now, am I saying that KeKe Palmer was paid for this interview? I don't know. I don't want to believe that. I'm not saying that she was paid for that, but what does KeKe Palmer get out of that? That's the question I want folks to ask. What does she get out of platforming Johnathon Majors? I'm not saying that KeKe Palmer is a bad person. What I'm saying is this whole ordeal is a bad situation. For her to allow herself to be used and platform this person and lend him social capital is very dangerous. That's what makes KeKe Palmer different from every other person who has spoken some good on Johnathon Majors. She is being used. And I want to know, does she know she's being used? Does she have an issue with her being used? And what is she getting out of this? Johnathon Majors was never interested in being in these many black spaces until recently. And if you don't see that, I need for you to understand what is happening. KeKe Palmer, this is not looking good for you. And it's making me question you as a person, because I can forgive the things that you have done in the past and understand where you're coming from your experience. Another thing, this is another reason why I always say that someone's experience does not give them the politic to be able to speak on said things. Although KeKe Palmer is a victim of DV, that doesn't mean she has the politic to match. Same thing I told you all with Kelly Rowland when she defended Chris Brown. Just because she is a victim of and a survivor of these things does not mean that she's the person qualified to speak on it. Yes, your experiences are your experiences. Without the work and the understanding and the knowledge, you will not be able to have the proper politic to speak on it. You can speak on it, doesn't mean that you're qualified. And the fact that KeKe Palmer is being used in this moment says a lot. That's all I got. Talk to y'all soon.